Cancer loves. And we need to know what cancer loves so we can stop it.
As cancer never stops, neither should you. Cancer thrives on food, making healthy eating essential. In this video, I will name the 9 deadliest cancer-causing foods. Avoid these 9 cancer-feeding foods for a healthy diet.
She used to make pavlovas, like meringues, and she used to make them this big. And on top, I think you put whipped cream and fruit, something like that. So she'd make a pavlova. She said, I would put 16 cups of white sugar into a pavlova this big. She said, I believe that I have just been feeding my cancer.
These acid-forming foods are high in the acid-forming minerals, which is phosphorus. Cancer loves acid. Cancer also loves no oxygen.
Acidic circumstances induce cancer, but alkaline conditions may slow development. Blood pH is 7.35–7.4, whereas disease proliferation occurs at 5.5 cellular pH. Cancer thrives in acidic, low oxygen, high sugar settings.
The other thing cancer loves is sugar.
These acid-forming compounds should be avoided to maintain pH balance.
So knowing those things, it makes a lot of sense to alkalize the tissues.
Acid-forming diets contain lots of phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine. These minerals increase dietary acidity, which can upset pH homeostasis if ingested in excess. 1. Meat. Starting with meat, particularly red and processed meats, is an excellent example of an acid-forming food.
So what foods are high in phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine? Meat. This explains why Dr. Colin Campbell found he could turn cancer cells on and off like a switch by the amount of meat and dairy products he was giving the rats.
These meats are high in phosphorus and sulfur, 2 minerals that have been linked to an increase in the body's acidity. This study highlights the enormous impact that dietary choices, specifically the intake of red and processed meats, might have on cancer risk. Individuals can make better dietary decisions if they understand how certain items affect the body's pH equilibrium. 2. Wheat. Another acid-producing food is hybrid wheat. Many diets depend on wheat because hybridization has boosted its acid-forming components.
The hybridization of the wheat created a lot more of the acid-forming minerals.
This change has made wheat more acidic, which is problematic given its predominance in modern diets. Barbara emphasizes knowing how acidic foods like hybridized wheat affect pH equilibrium. Avoiding such foods can improve health and lessen cancer risk by alkalizing the body. Ancient einkorn wheat is original. Einkorn's gentle protein or gluten structure evolved naturally and is simpler than modern wheat. Older wheat had more sensitive gluten. Einkorn and wild grass gave rise to wheat hundreds of thousands of years ago. The hybridization produced emmer wheat. Emmer wheat was delicate but gluten-rich. The hybrid wheat that dominates daily meals was aggressively crossbred from the emmer strain in the 1950s. Unlike its ancient ancestor, this hybrid wheat possesses complex and robust gluten. Nearly all processed goods had modified wheat, which increased gluten intolerance by the 1990s. Pasta, pizza, biscuits, cakes, cookies, donuts, and cereals are made with hybrid wheat. Farmers chose this kind because it produces 6 times more grain per acre than regular wheat. Safety assessments for long-term health effects were not done during fast adoption. So, gluten intolerance and brain fog and bloating have increased. 3. Coffee.
Caffeine. All your caffeine foods and drinks have an acid effect. And of course, caffeine usually comes hand in hand with the sugar, which certainly ups it. And remember our 2.6 Coca-Cola, that's a combination of the caffeine and the sugar.
Next one on the list is probably everyone's favorite, which is coffee. Caffeinated foods and beverages such as coffee, tea, and energy drinks have been shown to cause acidity in the body. This acidic diet, which contains animal proteins, coffee, and processed foods, can deplete essential alkaline minerals such as salt, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. These minerals are essential for balancing and reducing acids in the body. When their levels drop, people become more vulnerable to chronic and degenerative disorders. Coca-Cola, for example, has a pH of around 2.6, making it very acidic and potentially dangerous if consumed consistently.
And remember our 2.6 Coca-Cola, that's a combination of the caffeine and the sugar. Did you know that Coca-Cola is called Coca-Cola because I think it was in the early part of the 20th century they put cocaine in it. And then they went over to caffeine, which is just as dangerous.
4. Refined sugar.
Refined sugar, it's very acid forming.
Another acid-forming food is refined sugar. Sugar has a neutral pH of 7, but refining and ingesting too much makes the body acidic. Acidic metabolites from refined sugar metabolism increase body acid. Sugar depletes alkaline minerals and changes gut flora, encouraging acid-producing bacteria. This causes damaging body acidity over time. Sugar must be minimized to maintain pH. Since the liver processes sugar after eating, it lowers pH. This metabolic pathway produces lactic and acetic acids from sugar. Metabolites raise body acidity. Acid overflow upsets the body's pH balance, which is essential. Sugar metabolism depletes calcium, magnesium, and potassium and elevates acidity. Body stabilization and neutralization require these minerals. High sugar intake impacts insulin regulation and acid-base balance. Sugar releases insulin. Increased insulin levels boost urine alkaline mineral excretion. Increased sugar consumption disrupts pH equilibrium and depletes mineral stores, making the body acidic. Sugar also greatly impacts gut microbiota. High sugar intake feeds stomach acid-producing bacteria. Acidic conditions favor these bacteria, raising body acidity. These bacteria imbalances produce acidic byproducts, increasing body acidity. 5. Aged cheese.
Aged cheese. What's the blue in the blue vein cheese? The blue in the blue vein cheese is mold. So the only cheeses that don't sit under that category, the cheeses that have probably a pH of 7 would be your fresh. So that's your cottage, your ricotta. I'm not saying that they are okay because usually they come from cows who have not been fed right or have chemicals in them. But on the pH scale, they're not as acid.
Good dairy, especially aged cheeses, is vital. Mold concentration acidifies older cheeses, especially blue cheese. Mold in blue cheese veins acidifies it. A potential renal acid load, PRAL, makes dairy products acid-forming. PRAL analyzes food's chemical impact on the body after digestion and metabolism. Protein and phosphorus-rich dairy raises acidity. Milk, cheese, and yogurt are mildly acidic depending on variety and processing. Understanding PRAL's food effects, health advantages, and dangers of dairy products are not based on their acidity. Milk contains calcium, vitamin D, and protein, which are essential for bone health and function. PRAL shows how foods change pH balance without losing nutritional value. While some meals enhance acidity, they also have health benefits, though acidic dairy products are nutrient-dense and can be part of a balanced diet. How foods alter pH balance can help people eat well. Variety of acid and alkaline-forming meals and nutrients from different food groups may help maintain a healthy pH balance. This balanced approach reduces dietary acidity's harmful effects while meeting nutritional needs. 6. Alcohol and tobacco.
Alcohol is not a food, but it creates an acid environment in the body. Tobacco is not a food, but it also creates an acid environment in the body.
It's important to study how alcohol and tobacco, not foods, affect the body's acid balance and health. Most alcohol is metabolized in the liver. It is transformed into brain-damaging acetaldehyde throughout this process. Acetaldehyde raises the body's acid burden. This metabolic byproduct raises the body's acidity, showing how non-food products can affect pH. Alcohol affected acidity beyond its immediate effect. Acetaldehyde elevates acid levels and harms the brain. Long-term alcohol abuse can harm the liver and other organs, impairing pH and acid regulation. Tobacco, though not a food, acidifies the body. Tobacco combustion releases various acidic chemicals. These compounds increase the body's acidity and affect pH balance. Tobacco smoking increases the body's acid load and acidity, which can cause respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, emphasizing the importance of considering all health and pH regulation factors. Practical ways to cut acid-forming foods are needed.
We need to be consuming 20% acid-forming foods and 70 to 80% alkaline-forming foods.
Keeping the body's pH level balanced promotes health and avoids illness. 7. Grains.
All your other grains, other than the grains that sit on the alkaline side.
Many grains, for example, are naturally acid-forming, adding to the body's total acid burden. There are several exceptions, such as grains that are considered alkaline-forming.
And I'm sure you're not surprised to hear me say that the 20% should come from this section here. Yes, oatmeal is here. Yes, rice is here. They're not bad grains. We need a little acid. Yes, your chickpeas are here, and your garbanzos, your chickpeas, your black-eyed beans, your kidney beans. They're not bad. Of course they're not bad. We need a little acid. It's when the whole meal is acid that tips the scales.
Individuals can assist maintain a more balanced pH level by integrating these alkaline-forming grains into their diets, even if they only consume acid-forming foods 20% of the time. This method emphasizes the necessity of recognizing the acid-forming potential of different foods and making informed decisions in order to maintain overall health. By being aware of these distinctions, people can build a more balanced and health-promoting diet, decreasing the possible negative effects of high dietary acidity. 8. Legumes.
All your other legumes, other than the lima, lentil and soy.
Similarly, legumes have a variety of acidity levels. Lima beans, lentils and soybeans are among the least acidic foods, adding little to the body's acid load. In comparison, other legumes create more acid. This variation shows the significance of cautious selection when including legumes into your diet. Individuals can improve their dietary acidity and encourage a more balanced pH level in the body by eating less acidic foods such as lima beans, lentils and soybeans.
How many Americans would be eating 90% acid, 10% alkaline? Is that true? No wonder cancer and heart disease are neck to neck for the #1 killers in the world today.
9. Nuts.
And all your other nuts, other than the almond and Brazil, have an acid effect.
Almonds and Brazil nuts are neutral or alkaline. These nuts help regulate body pH. In addition to being alkaline-forming, almonds include vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats. However, Brazil nuts are abundant in selenium, which boosts antioxidant activity and health. By eating alkaline or neutral nuts, people can lessen their acidity. This modification may help people balance their diet and establish a healthy internal environment. Focus on alkaline-forming foods to maintain a healthy pH. Leafy greens, vegetables, and nuts like almonds and Brazil nuts are alkaline-forming. Leafy greens like spinach and kale, cucumbers, and bell peppers provide nutrients and alkalize the body.
And sometimes you'll see a hydrangea plant with blue flowers, sometimes purple flowers, sometimes hot pink flowers, sometimes pale pink flowers. They're not different types of hydrangea plant. The gardener plays with the pH of the soil because different pHs create different coloured flowers. Just as the gardener plays with the pH of the soil to get the right colour flower, you can play with the pH of your soil, cell, to create different health and sicknesses conditions in the body. One of the easiest ways to do it is eat more vegetables, eat more greens. Start pursuing the other grains. And little by little, without your family even realizing it, you can begin to create an alkaline environment in your family.
Make informed decisions and allow your nutrition to play a role in cancer prevention. If you are a health enthusiast who found this topic useful, please subscribe and make sure to follow us for more content like this.